Hello everybody, my name is Mark Brandenburg and this is Nathan Potter. We'll be explaining to you the rules of the game Acquire. Now this is the general setup for the game. You want to take out all the tiles, place them face down so you do not see the numbers on them. You want to take out all your hotel chain cards. You want to separate them and place them on the table. You want to have a clean slate on your game board. You want to pass out 5 $100 bills, 3 $500 bills, and 4 $1,000 bills to each player, as well as give them an acquired game card, which explains what you get from merges and whatnot, which we'll be explaining later on. In order to start the game, the first thing you need to do is have each player pick one tile to see who goes first. So we pick, and I got 12G. What did you get?
I have 6D.
So since he has the lower number, 6 compared to 12, he'll go first. If players tie with the same number, for instance, if I had 6E and he had 6D, Nathan will once again go first because he has a lower letter. So now, once you pick your tile and see who goes first, you can put them back, and now you can draw 6 tiles, which you'll have 6 tiles throughout the game. Just like in the game of Scrabble, you can look at these tiles and plan your moves for future moves. Once you have them all in front of you, you're ready to start the game of Acquire. And now we'll go to Nathan to explain what you do on your turn.
Mark said, since I had the lower number, I'm going to go ahead and go first. So what you would do on a turn, you look at the 6 tiles in front of you, and you can choose any one of the 6 tiles to go ahead and place on the board. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 2E and place it on the board. Now at this point, I have a decision to make. Do I want to go ahead and buy any of the stock for any chains that are currently on the board? Since there are no chains on the board, I go ahead and draw a new tile and put it in front of me. And the turn shift to Mark.
On my turn, I choose to play 3C. So I put that on the board. Since, once again, there are no chains on the board, I cannot buy any stock. So I pick a new tile, and my turn now goes to Nathan.
Since we don't have any chains right now, we're going to go ahead and fast forward a few turns and show you what a chain will look like.
Fast forward a few turns, and we're ready to make our first chain. I have drawn the tile 8D, which connects it to 8E on the board, if you look here. Now one thing I want to point out is that you can only make a chain if tiles connect up and down and across. So if a tile is diagonal, like 7F is here, it does not make a chain. Once you made a chain, the creator of that chain can choose the hotel chain that he wants to make. I'm going to choose Festival Hotels. Now the creator of the chain will get 1 bonus stock, which are what these cards are, and I now own 1 stock in the Festival Hotel chain. I also get to get the colored square and put it on top of the chain so you know what the chain is called. Since I've now placed 1 tile, it is the end of my turn, and I can finally buy stock in the hotel chain. So I look at my Acquire information card, and now we'll take a closer look at this card to see how much this stock costs. To buy stock in a hotel chain, we first need to find where the hotel is located on the information card. We chose Festival Hotels, which is right here in the middle column on the card. In order to see how much the stock costs to buy, we need to see how many hotels are in the chain. Since we just started it, there are only 2 hotels in the chain. So you go to where the Festival Hotel chain is, down to where you see how many hotels that are in the chain are. Since we have 2 hotels in the chain, it's noted right here. We go across the row to see how much the stock costs, and you see that it costs $300 per share. So I'll choose to buy 3 shares of that stock. So it costs $900 for me to buy 3 shares. Now, since I decided to buy 3 shares of that stock, that is the end of my turn, and we'll now go to Nathan for his turn.
We've actually played a few more rounds now, and we have 3 hotel chains on the board. We have Imperial, Festival, and Tower. Now we're going to show you what happens when there's a merger that takes place. So currently I have piece 9D. I'm going to go ahead and place that on the board, and as you can see, Imperial and Festival have now merged. So what takes place when there's a merger is the larger hotel chain actually takes over all the hotels. So Imperial will take over and Festival is removed from the board. Now you need to look at your acquired game card and figure out who is the first and second most majority shareholders of the Festival stock, and they actually get shareholders bonuses. Mark holds 3 shares of the Festival Hotel stock, and I hold 1 share. So since there were 2 hotels in the festival chain, Mark is actually paid the first majority holders bonus of $3,000, and I am paid the $1,500 for the second majority holders bonus. So after the majority holders bonuses have been paid, each player, starting with the merger maker and continuing clockwise around the table, has 3 options to do with their festival stock. They can either hold it in expectation that more festival chains will be on the board shortly. They can sell their stock at the current stock market price, where in this case, since there were 2 festival hotels in that chain, they can sell each share for $300. Or they can decide to trade, where they can trade 2 shares of festival stock for 1 share of Imperial stock, which was the controlling chain in this move.
Now that Nathan has discussed what happens during a merger, I now want to go over some minor rules that we have yet to discuss. The first rule is that at the end of your term when you're buying stock, the maximum amount of stocks that you can buy is only 3. The next rule is during multiple mergers. A multiple merger is a merger of 3 hotel chains or more. The same rules apply to these mergers. First off, the largest hotel chain will take over the lesser 2 hotel chains. Also, if 2 or more of the hotel chains have the same tiles, then once again the merger maker will decide which hotel chain will take over. A third minor rule is that a player cannot sell his stock to gain money at any point in the game unless it is at the end of a merger where you have to abide by the 3 rules of holding onto your stock, selling your stock, or trading in your stock. So once you have run out of money, you must continue to place hotels, but you can no longer buy stock until after a merger. Finally, once a hotel chain has become 11 hotels or larger, it is considered a safe hotel chain. What this means is that it can no longer be taken over by a merger. However, it can still take over smaller hotel chains to become larger and larger. Finally, I want to go over how the game ends. There are 2 ways in which the game of Acquire can end. First is if 1 hotel chain becomes 41 hotels or larger. The second way is that if all hotel chains on the board are safe, which are 11 tiles or larger. So we've pretty much mimicked the game all the way till the very end. And as you can see from the game board, Tower Hotels, Imperial Hotels are the 2 largest hotel chains on the board. They are both safe hotel chains because they're both larger than 11 hotels. Little old Continental Hotels is still lasting out here though, as you can see. I have drawn the tile 7E. Now this is an example of an unplayable tile, because if you can see, if I were to place it, it would merge Tower Hotels and Imperial Hotels. This is called an unplayable tile, and you can actually dispose of this from the game and draw a new one, if you ever get a tile like that. So I'm going to draw a new one. The tile I get is 2C. As you can see here, this is a merger that would merge Tower Hotels and Continental Hotels. You go through all the rules of disposing of stock, and the primary and secondary shareholders will get their bonuses. However, as you can see, there are only 2 hotel chains left on the board, and they are both safe. This is an example of how the game will end. And a player, once it is your turn, and you recognize this, you can end the game at that point. Now we're going to go to Nathan, who will explain to you what you need to do once the game ends, and who wins the game of Oak
So
One.
now that all the hotel chains on the board are safe, we need to figure out who wins the game. Now the overall objective of the game is to see who acquires the most money. So what you do at the end is you add up all of your cash as well as your overall stock value to see who has acquired the most wealth. Now since the only 2 chains on the board are Imperial and Tower, the stock that Mark's holding worldwide is useless. It's worth nothing. So now what we want to do is go ahead and look at our acquired game card to see how many hotels are on the board and match it up with the current market price that each share is selling for. So Mark and I have gone ahead and added up how much we ended up with. So Mark, how much do you have?
I have 20,000.
Well, I ended up with 25, so it looks like I came out on top. We hope you've enjoyed this information session on how to learn how to play Acquire.